Whether you're a master of the business universe or the queen of your castle, we never have as much time as we need. So now, in the new book, Cut to the Chase and 99 Other Rules to Liberate Yourself and Gain Back the Gift of Time, Stuart Levine shares some practical suggestions to streamline all of our lives. Stuart, good morning.
And good morning to you.
Who doesn't want more time? Everyone wants it. But is this book for CEOs or moms or both?
I think it's for everybody because we're living in a world where there's a lot of confusion, and as I travel around the country, when I deal with clients who are global leaders, they express concern about work-life balance. And of course, this Friday I had some dinner with friends, and I'm sitting across from a mom who has 4 children, and she's saying, you know, I need some more work-life balance. So if you have the ability to think clearly and you can act effectively and you can communicate directly, that helps cut through the clutter.
I think it was Queen Victoria who said, my entire kingdom just for a moment of time back at the end of her life. So
right.
Let's help people then. You say, in terms of what people can do, they need to, for example, start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Very important. You know, I have a business client, and he came to me one day about 2 years ago and said, I need to move my business forward. And I said, Larry, just tell me where you want to be in about 2 or 3 years. So you always start with the end goal in mind, and once you have identified that objective, you move forward.
So you know exactly where you're going because you know where you want to end up. Master the 10-minute meeting. I mean, this is it with your family or with your workers.
Critical. You know, you take a mom who is working hard, got a lot of pressure. She goes to a physician. She's got the kids pulling at her. Write down the 3 or 4 questions you need to be answered by that physician while you're face-to-face with the doc.
You're talking about focusing.
Absolutely correct.
Focusing very, very clearly on what you want. Organize yourself first.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
Yeah. Well, you know, professional chefs, before they start to cook for us in a restaurant, organize the condiments, the ingredients.
Okay, so how do we organize our lives?
Well, I think you have to prioritize what you want and treat other people as if it were your own. Don't let other people control your agenda and your thinking.
Okay, and you say don't multitask.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us who've been and listen, I broke 2 wine glasses last night multitasking. You're saying it's a bad idea?
It's a bad idea. One thing at a time. We were doing some strategic work for a very large law firm in California. I was dealing with a senior partner. On one hand, she's typing a brief. On another, she's answering a phone, and she's dealing with a young associate. Something gets lost in that equation. Take one thing at a time and then move forward. It's a much more effective way of doing things.
You also say there's a lot lost when we spend a lot of time around people who you describe as toxic.
Right. Those toxic people cost us our energy and our ability to think clearly. So I'm saying in the new year, let's get the toxic people out.
Get them out, or just don't deal with them as much, or don't let them affect you, because sometimes you can't get them out.
Well, there are times when in your family, as an example, you may have some toxic people, but I think you have to...
Excuse me? No.
Don't get me in trouble. I have the best mother-in-law in the world. But I think, you know, ultimately you have to put some parameters around those relationships.
All right. You say also take back the weekend, which... I think a lot of us, I mean, especially in we're going so fast now, you know, with our Blackberries and our Crackberries. I mean, they're now called Crackberries. Right. I'm using mine so much. In my new year, I'm trying to put it down, take back my weekend. Hard to do.
Well, I think if you make a commitment which says when we're in a meeting, if your baby's ugly, you need to tell somebody that. If the idea is not flying, you need to move on. If you're at a point in a meeting where you say, I got it, and you stop, you know, you're killing me. Those type of ideas, those rules and cut to the chase, help you get to that weekend, which literally says you have to put the book down and you have to renew yourself, because the human ecosystem says we need the renewal.
You know, can I say, we have just barely gotten to all of the great bits of advice in this book. I mean, I suggest that it's very, very useful. I found it very interesting to read through last
Thank you.
night.
I appreciate that so much.
Yes, best to
Pleasure.
you in everything.
Have a healthy new year.
And cutting to the chase, let me just tell you again, the book is called Cut to the Chase, and up next, some high-tech products that might help you do just that. But first, today on